Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us for the 6 p.m. English news over the Republican television. Let's begin right away with our headlines. The population and family of 38-year-old Bettin from Bonaberi in Douala invaded the 9th District Police Station in Daido this Thursday, November 18, following allegations that the young businessman was tortured to death for a misunderstanding with his neighbor, who is a police officer. Researchers and experts in the cassava production sector have met this Thursday, November 18th in Yaoundé to present their research work on how to improve cassava production, ameliorate chain values, and valorize cassava in Cameroon and Central Africa as a whole. The National Institute of Statistics has this Thursday, November 18th, celebrated the 31st edition of African Day of Statistics with some 30 employees decorated with silver and gold medals for hard work in the presence of the Senior Divisional Officer for Fundi. Those were our headlines. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. Let's move to the littoral region, where the population and family of a 38-year-old Bettin from Bonaberi in Douala invaded the 9th District Police Station in Daido this Thursday, November 18th, following an allegation that the young businessman was tortured to death for a misunderstanding with his neighbor, who is a police officer. We have details with Isaac Ngong.
Inconsolable, the three wives of 38-year-old Bettin can't believe their husband has gone to the land of no return. The family of the deceased young man, who was selling electronic and mechanical gadgets in the city of Douala before his demise, have cried their eyes out this Thursday, 18th November 2021. It was about 2 a.m. that my elder brother came to get him out of the police cell here. He was brought home before giving up the ghost shortly after. The landlady gave my younger brother the permission to erect a temporary structure where he will be selling his goods, and that is exactly where he was even renting. His neighbor, who is a police woman, opposed the idea. That's how she gave him a convocation on the issue. And since the policewoman was working here at the 9th District Police Station, he was arrested and brought here. He was beaten all through the night and came back vomiting blood until he died. The friend of the deceased, who was also involved in the construction project, narrates his own part of the story. We couldn't just come and start building without consulting the landlady. But the lady rough-handed me and even slapped me for working on this side. I wanted to retaliate, but Bettin told me not to. He promised to handle the situation. 1 week later, the police lady gave him a convocation. He called me to inform me that he was going to the police station yesterday. I was surprised this morning to receive a call telling me he was tortured to death. This is really disheartening. It is for this reason that the population came out in their numbers to manifest their anger and discontentment at the 9th District Police Station in Daido, Douala this morning. The police was forced to use tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the angry protesters. It is a shame that such happenings are still taking place in our beloved country in this century.
We remain in the littoral region of the country, where motorbike riders in Konsamba have been given 1 month to get personal identification documents so as to maintain order in their sector. This was the major resolution arrived at the end of a meeting that brought together stakeholders under the auspices of the Divisional Officer for Mongo, Yves Bertrand Nwe Njana. We have details with Jan Ninkham.
During a meeting chaired by the Senior Divisional Officer for Mungo, If Bertrand Nzana, this November 17, 2021 in Konsamba, the resolution aimed at bringing order in the commercial motorbike sector are clear. Every bike rider is expected to have a national identity card, driver's license with each bike, expected to have the complete documents wherever and whenever the need arises. To live up to expectations, therefore, these commercial motorbike riders who play a very important role in facilitating the daily activities of the local population have been given a deadline of 1 month to conform to these rules and regulations. During the meeting, it was an avenue for these stakeholders to have exchanges on the state of the commercial motorbike sector with the principal concerned, tabling the difficulties they encounter on a daily basis. As ways forward, therefore, strategies and recommendations were being made so as to see these important actors carry out their activities freely, especially as end-of-year festivities are fast approaching, not leaving out the African Cup of Nations the country looks forward to hosting in the days ahead. Worthy of note is that the above activity is to put order in this sector, which until now is difficult to follow a particular line. Motorbike riders in Konsamba are therefore expected in the days ahead to apply stipulated recommendations for order to be a reality in their sector.
The 23rd session of the National Labour Advisory Commission and Social Security was held yesterday, November 17, 2021. The ceremony, which took place at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, was chaired by the Ministry Minister Agrigua Owona. Anne Umeko was present and brought back the following report.
Transporters face many problems and challenges during active service as they struggle to survive and take care of themselves and families despite their tireless efforts to render good services. To ameliorate and bring lasting solutions to this phenomenon, the 23rd session of the National Labour Commission holds at the Conference Hall of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, November 17, 2021, to examine proposed pertinent and structural innovations in strict respect of rights and well-being of transporters in carrying out jobs decently.
Salaries. It's more on in this negotiation, because if you look at it most times, especially when I talk about taxes, it's a matter of negotiation. As we know, salaries are negotiated. So, and then they know that when you work a number of hours, or by the end of the month, they give you a certain amount of money, and at a certain point, some people even negotiate at a certain point of time, after you work for so many years or number of months, you can own the taxi. That's between you and the employer. That's different. But now the working conditions, they face a lot of problems because they don't have rest. Workers or taxi drivers who work don't have enough rest, and that's why we see a lot of accidents happening, because they are expected to bring a certain amount of money within a short time, and so they work round the clock non-stop. I mean, there's no worker that works. They're not machines. They're human beings, and of course we are entitled to live. You are entitled to rest. At least during the weekend you can rest. And I think that's what the employers employ two drivers, so that when you work during the day, some of them work in the night, so that you don't overwork any of the workers. But I want to say that the Ministry of Labour is doing its best to make sure that workers have decent work. But you know that when we talk about drivers, at the level of motorbikes, it becomes more complicated with them because they're not really structured. In the very informal sector, they're not very structured.
Non-respect of working hours and under poor working conditions remain a big problem.
And it's really unfair to see that workers are exploited. It's unfair. It's not right. Because workers are, if an employer wants to overuse a worker, don't forget that that worker, if he's been overused, at one point your company is going to crash. So it depends on the sector of activity in which you're working. 8 hours is a recommended number of hours per day. And it depends on the sector, as I say. In other sectors of activity, you can work 53 hours, 48 hours a week. You know, it depends. So if you want to make a worker work overtime, you pay the worker overtime. It's recommended, it's in the law. You pay the worker overtime. Every worker is entitled to receive overtime, you work overtime. And also, this overtime is regulated. You don't work, make a worker work, and then you give low salaries. It is true that when a worker is looking for a job, you become so desperate to a point where when you're giving the job, you don't see it at that point because you're desperate, you want to work. That's your main objective, is to work, to have a job. But when you start working and then you discover that you are being overused, it wears on you.
This timely consultative meeting chaired by the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owone, comes as a stepping stone to guarantee the well-being of workers and their families for peace, social cohesion and possible move towards an emergent Cameroon by 2035.
Researchers and experts in the cassava production sector have met this Thursday, November 18th in Yaoundé to present their research work on how to improve cassava production, ameliorate chain values and valorize cassava in Cameroon and in Central Africa as a whole. And Umeko was present and compiled the following report.
Cassava is a long tuberous starchy root mostly used in Cameroon for the production of gari, water fufu, bobolo, yogurt, flour to bake bread and more. To valorize this sector for a durable production of cassava in Cameroon and Central Africa as a whole and its integration in the market, experts meet to present research works at the Agricultural Research Center in Yaoundé, November 18, 2021.
This workshop has a main objective of presenting the main results that were obtained by all the researchers of Central Africa. And the second phase of this project will certainly focus on how to diffuse to the end users who are farmers, small farmers, the results of this project, as well as results from other projects all around concerning cassava.
Results will expand for industrial purposes.
Researchers with their other stakeholders will certainly see how these results could expand for industrial production.
Local producers still face problems as this sector is not well structured.
The production is there, but we are unable to sell. The market is not well structured because at times there are customers who impose prices on the market, and valorizing this product will instill the habit of using them. People do not know that cassava can be used to produce many things and consumed in different ways.
There are steps to improve the quality and quantity of cassava production.
In innovation platforms, you get all stakeholders for the value chain on board to begin working, thinking, and make sure that at the end of the day, the results are well known by everybody. So youth, women, seniors, everybody will be in the border.
Cultivated in large quantity in Cameroon, if valorized, will create jobs and contribute to the sustainable development of the country.
Let's now talk something else, where the National Institute of Statistics has this Thursday, November 18th, celebrate the 31st edition of African Statistics Day. The ceremony, which recognized some 30 employees with silver and gold medals for their hard work, is a day that is set aside to raise public awareness on the importance of statistics in all aspects of a social and economic life. We have details in the following report.
Under the theme Modernizing National Statistical Systems to Support Socio-Cultural Development in Africa, the National Institute of Statistics has celebrated the 31st edition of African Statistics Day. It is a day to raise a public awareness on the importance of statistics in all aspects of social and economic life.
It was an occasion to end the celebration of a month of statistics in Cameroon, because today, the 18th of November, is African Statistics Day, and was celebrating statistics for the development of social cultural in African countries.
During the ceremony, some 30 employees who have shown loyalty with their quality of work for over 10 and 25 years were decorated with silver and gold medals in the presence of the senior divisional officer for Fundi.
They graduate today, and on those who was not graduate to work hard so that next time we will come here to give them medals.
The director seized the opportunity to encourage those who did not benefit to work harder.
Staff who has served administration for many years, at least 1 decade, 10 years, 30 and 25, over 25 for some. It was a congratulation.
This symbol of recognition is, however, a call for these recipients to reinforce themselves for the task ahead.
Medal is the award of several years of effort, of hard work. I am really happy, and I have now the spirit in order to continue to work hard and receiving in the years ahead another medals.
These workers of the National Institute of Statistics are therefore called upon to strengthen the production of art, culture and heritage statistics for sustainable development and building the Africa we want.
Under the leadership of Philemon Tiam, a strong delegation from Yaoundé and the diaspora arrived in Igarawa on Wednesday, November 17th, to reiterate on the importance of peace in the country. We have details with BrigadeAntiSardinard.
The National Caravans for the Promotion of Peace and Living Together arrived in Igarawa this Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. After having toured the service of the Governor of the North Region and the Senior Divisional Officer of the Benue Division, the delegates of the Republican generation held talks with young people of the North Region on questions of peace and living together for a one and indivisible Cameroon. The mayor of the city of Igarawa appreciated this initiative.
We
are at a very difficult time to encounter the movements that are happening everywhere around us, inside and even outside. The ones happening in the northwest and southwest and even the far north regions. Peaceful caravan that advocates peace. So this awareness around youth is very important, and you know the importance we attached to Cameroonian youth.
Cette sensibilisation autour de la jeunesse est très importante.
The founding president of the Presidential Youth emphasized the importance of promoting peace. We must call on all young people, all the forces of the nation to follow the need to preserve peace in our country, because one of the heritage of our founding fathers of the Cameroonian nation was peace. Above all, I wanted to say that when you read through the lines, the motto of Cameroon is peace, work, fatherland. The peace pillar, which is the first element, seems to me to be fundamental in view of the economic situation in which our country has been rebelling for several years. Preserving peace for us is therefore the first challenge.
La paix représente donc pour nous le premier défi.
The regional coordinator of the Presidential Youth for the North intends to continue this exhilarating and noble task of promoting peace in the 4 divisions of the North region of Cameroon.
It's fundamental for us Cameroonians, this peace, very fundamental. It is not among the world. The world is not there. So we come here to tell the youth, the Gaba youth, it is fundamental for us to talk about peace, because Cameroon is the country of the peace.
After Igarawa, that was a total success. The caravan will continue its campaign to raise awareness in Adamawa region, which will put an end to the campaign in the northern part of the country.
Let's now move to the National Assembly, where 3 government ministers have answered to oral questions from the lawmakers this Thursday, November 18, 2021 at the Yaoundé Conference Center. Minister Laurent Esso of State of Justice and Keeper of Seal, Professor Jacques Pham Ndongo of State Minister of Higher Education and Grand Chancellor of Academic Others, and Minister Emmanuel Nganu Jimwesi of Public Work. This session was chaired by the Speaker of House, Kava Yege Jibril. Bertrand Tita was present and compiled the following report.
First to mount the ostrom was the Minister of State, Minister of Justice and Keeper of the Seal, Laurent Esso, who answered to pertinent questions from the members of the National Assembly, one relating to the issue of bailiffs, where he categorically told the members that it was coming from an illegal association and can't be addressed at the National Assembly. Next to face the lawmakers was the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education and Grand Chancellor of Academic Others, Professor Jacques Pham Ndongo, who in response to one of the questions announced that in the nearest future the digital diploma will be instituted to replace the present analog diploma. Closely followed was the Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Nganu Jimwesi, who indicated that for 5 years now, an accumulative amount of approximately 179.136 billion CFA francs has been mobilized by the government of Cameroon for road projects in the northwest region. To respond to the issue of the dilapidating Baba Jubamenda 51.97 kilometer stretch of road, the minister said the road will be divided into 4 lots in order to speed up the works and make up for the accumulated delay.
It's clear today to us that the road will pass. The road will pass. Let's believe the government and let's hope 2021-2022 budget will see that road going through. But my cry now and my plea is that we from the Northwest, if we can understand this thing and allow development to come, then our boys should come out from the bush and allow this development to go through. The budget is there. The minister has made it. The budget is there. So the problem now is leading that our young men should leave the bush and come out and so that we can carry on development successfully. Because we are the blockage now. Because the government is ready. They have not said there is no finance. They said the finances are there, but the companies are running away.
The special plenary oral question sitting at the conference center was chaired by the House Speaker, the Right Honorable Kava Yege Jibril.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you're watching the 6 p.m. English news over Camdis television. Let's now talk culture, where a press conference to announce the participation of Cameroonian Miss in the Miss World and Miss Universe contest was held on Wednesday, November 17, 2021 in Yaoundé. It was a historic moment, an opportunity to show the world Cameroon's beauty, talent, and cultural heritage at the international level. And Umeko took part and brought back the following report.
Cameroonian beautiful queens will soon journey to compete in the Miss World and Miss Universe contest next December 2021. Mobilization for better positions to obtain the crowns in the different competitions intensify, and this can only be achieved with the support of Cameroonians.
This time around, I'm counting on all Cameroonians to have a higher placement than we ever had at the previous competitions, because the voting from our different countries is also very important for us.
To get many votes and to be at the top, everyone can follow these steps.
So what we need to do is the continuity, what we do to share the pictures, to share information about the pageant, and to keep supporting on the official pages of Miss World and Miss Universe as well. And then we have to, and we need to download the applications as well for Miss World and Miss Universe. That is Mobster and Miss Universe app respectively.
Voting, of which you will see the different delegates, which is in alphabetical order. When you go down, you're going to see Cameroon, you're going to see our picture and our biography. And you're going to click on vote for now. And when you vote, the first vote is free, but if you want to vote as much as you can pay for that, which is actually $1 per vote.
An occasion to showcase Cameroon's rich cultural heritage worldwide.
First of all, just the outfits that we are making to present at Miss World are outfits that have our fabrics from Cameroon, from Africa, And we know that everywhere we want to go to as a black, it's not easy to stand out in international pageants. But from our outfits and how we present our culture and the kind of dishes that we have, I mean, we all know that Cameroon is known as Africa in miniature. And the most important thing we can do is sell our diversity, meaning every candidate out there is going to know that in Cameroon we have a little bit of all of them here in our country through what we do and how we interact and how we welcome the way they react to certain situations around us.
Audrey Nabila Monkam, Miss Cameroon 2020, is a contestant for Miss World to take place in Puerto Rico in December 16, 2021. And Michelle Ange Minkata, Miss Cameroon 2016, contestant for Miss Universe. Declarations during a press conference on November 17, 2021 at the Contemporary Arts Gallery in Yaoundé. A historic moment, as this is the first time to send both Miss World and Miss Universe a second representation in Miss Universe.
Under the auspices of Minister Celestine Kecha-Coutez of Housing and Urban Development, about 360 Secretary Generals from different councils in the 10 regions of Cameroon are undergoing a training in Yaoundé. It is a means to help these secretaries know their place and tasks to carry out as Secretaries Generals. We have details for you.
The first ever edition of the Professional Days for Local Development Officers, which kicked off this November 17, 2021, saw the participation of 360 Secretary Generals from 10 municipalities of the 10 regions of Cameroon here in Yaoundé, coming together to amass skills to better handle their local communities. Through this initiative, Cameroon will be gearing towards sustainable development.
Our country will be sustainably developed when all the territory will be developed. And actually with the decentralization, you have key people, Secretary General, Treasurer, and technical service who should support the local authorities to fulfill their duty. And it's very important also to train them in order for them to know exactly what is awaited from them, to know exactly all the legal documents that they need to use to support the local authorities. Is very important to show them the way to support the head of state, to sustainably develop our country through the local authorities.
This program will give SGs better ways to reflect on their output.
It gives us the opportunity to think collectively. That means Secretary Generals, the administration, as well as other actors who are present to become or ameliorate the task of Secretary Generals to better support local authorities.
It is also an opportunity for Secretary Generals and the administration to support the local authorities to better handle their functions.
The initiative, which is a medium of reflection to ameliorate territorial professions, have been put in place. It is Secretary General today. Certainly tomorrow we will deal with other professions.
The event, which is made up of roundtable discussions, debates, and inaugural lectures, is so much appreciated by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Celestine Kecha-Coutez.